One of my favorite friends.
I know.
Yeah, Mr. Alistair Edwards.
From Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And he has a list of accolades. Those of you who've met him, you love him like we do and appreciate him. I mean, we look up to him.
And he doesn't just do legal show. He helps with the whole community. He works with the Entrepreneurial Center up in Atlanta, and he kind enough to invite Teresa and I to do a big presentation just for them. We didn't necessarily do a legal show meeting. We just went up and helped them with their business and stuff.
And a legal show meeting.
And we did we did legal show meetings also when he was up there. But he just is a great guy. We've known him for a long time. One was a respected guy and trusted guy in all of legal show. One of the best trainers I've ever seen in my life. And we are just thrilled to have him on the call.
We're excited to have him on. I've got my tablet here ready to take notes, my journal. So I want you to know for the new people on the line, and we do have a lot of new people on the line tonight, which is wonderful. Alicia, we hear you, so you need to mute your line. Everybody make sure you're muted.
Alicia's ready to talk. Boy.
That's okay. Alistair is a Millionaire Club member. Of course, he's a $300,000 ring earner. He is a Platinum 2 executive director. He was 2017 Trainer of the Year, which is no surprise. And he's on Platinum World Council, and he is the business vice president for the Eastern region. So.
And big deal, trusted by the home office, all the staff at the home office and everybody in the field. So, Mr. Alistair Edwards, are you with us tonight, I hope?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can. Hey, big guy.
So you
hey, man, how you all doing?
Cold up there, isn't it?
Yeah, excited to be on your call. Truly honored and humbled to be invited to be on your call.
You need to get some bonuses to pay your heat bill.
I'm working on it.
I know.
Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us tonight.
No problem at all. So I know you guys wanted me to kind of talk about residual income.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're the wanted to do.
Yeah, but see, we had April on. She's talking about all this big money from day one. Everybody needs to know there's more money you're making, but you just don't see it yet, but you will.
Yeah, most definitely. And first of all, I need to say to Miss April Hurst, man, I've watched that young lady join our business and just grow to be a phenomenal leader and trainer. And I want to just say, April, I am so proud of you and your accomplishments and what you're doing. And I know you're going to be an amazing Millionaire Club member and Platinum World Council member when you come aboard. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see what we got. So everyone can see that, correct? Can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Yes, we can.
All right. I didn't hear any response. I was like, what, did I get dropped off or something? Well, so I'm just wanted to talk to everyone basically about why this business opportunity is so great. Because, I was always told, they say the wealthy need to have at least 4 or 5 different streams of income, right? I'm sure you all have heard that before. And it's amazing to me to realize that just in our one company, Legal Shield, we have 4 or 5 streams of income. I mean, it's crazy and it's totally unheard of. So I'm just going to go through it and just kind of let you all know. And the reason I came up with this training is there was a young man in our organization who was a mentor to me. He was considered the financial guru of our TMV family. And one day he decided he was going to leave what was called prepaid legal back then, Legal Shield, and go do something. And I was in total shock. And it kind of messed up our organization. It actually I had one ED leg that had over 27 executive directors. And because we have edified this gentleman so highly, he probably took about 20 of them with him. He didn't have the courage to call me and tell me, but so I called him and he says, well, I'm leaving because the company has no residual income. There's no residual income there. And I said, you sure? He's like, yeah, there's no residual income. I said, okay. So I decided to say, before I make a stupid decision, let me investigate for myself. So I called corporate and I spoke to Jeannie and I spoke to a young lady up there that fully understood what residual income was. And she sat down and explained residual income to me. And I thought to myself, there is no way that anyone who understands the residual income portion of our business would ever quit our business. So I was almost upset at the company because there was nothing in place to educate people on what residual income was, right? Because I think that's the actual better part of our business. Meaning we get to do a short amount of work in a short period of time to live a lifetime of residual income if we do it correctly. And that's unheard of in any other industry. Even in industries that have insurance and have policies and have residual, what we get paid on hours, or let me put it this way, the potential of what we have to get paid if we do it right, way outproduces or does anything else that any other company that has residual income does. And so I wanted to make sure I understood it fully, because I wanted to make sure that the people that I brought into the business didn't leave me again because they were under the false impression that there was no residual income. And so that's how we came up with this training. So I'm just going to go through it real quickly for you, just so everyone on the line knows. We get paid several different ways in this company. First of all, we get what we call personal commissions. Anytime you personally write a membership, you get paid. We also get what we call an override commission, meaning anyone you recruiting the business and they write a membership, you get paid. On both sets of memberships, the personal membership and the overrides that you got, you still get also residual income. So even the book of business that your team members are writing, the people that you've recruited, or even the people that have been placed in your organization, as long as they fall in your genealogy, any memberships that they write, those memberships stay on the books longer than 13 months, and those customers continue to pay those membership fees. You continue to receive a portion in residual income from that book of business. I want you to think how amazing that is. So some of you on the line are saying, well, I'm not a big membership writer. No, but because we're doing double recruiting this month, you can go out and recruit a big membership writer, right? And then, of course, direct sales, group premiums, if you have someone that goes out and does group or you do group, both in the network marketing and in the business solution side, there are business solution incentives, and of course, the double recruiting bonuses in the network marketing side. And then, of course, I think the most underestimated money is our performance club point money. I really want people to consider, what are you doing with that $300 extra with your performance club? So I think Daddy Frank would probably be one of the best people to train just on what you could do with an extra $300 every month. You know, so for example, if you had a 30-year mortgage and you could take $300 extra a month and write on that check, hey, I want this to go to the principal, you would probably take years off of that 30-year mortgage just with that extra $300 in performance club money, right? Which would save you thousands in interest over the years. That's just one thing you could do with your performance club check. Or you could say, hey, I'm gonna just take this $300 performance club check and pretend like it doesn't exist and just use it to knock off whatever bills I have. So it's not gonna be anything I spend on anything extravagant. It's not gonna be anything I'm not buying anything new. It's just gonna be whatever comes in on performance club, I'm gonna put that directly to whatever negative balance I have out there, a negative credit card, an old college loan, whatever it is. And you could pay off your debt, right? Just with that performance club bonus check. So the good news is we constantly advance you through the comp plan. So every time you personally market a membership, you become an associate, right? Brand new in the business here today, you go out and write a membership, we're gonna pay you $60 on a $49.90 plan. Do $90 in premium, recruit someone, the company says, look, we know you haven't perfected it, but because you put in the effort, we're not gonna pay you $120 the next time you do that. And here's the good news. Whether you mess it up or not, we're not gonna demote you. I want y'all to think how important that is. It's the first company that I've been a part to where I knew I could never get fired, right? Like unless you just do some stupid, illegal, dumb stuff, you're not gonna get fired. And your compensation can go as high as $280 every time you personally market a membership. So I'll just even stay at $120. Any one of you on the line can tell me another occupation where you can get paid $120 an hour. Because it's basically if you ever decide to sit down with someone for an hour, 9 times out of 10, they're going to get paid the membership. The company's going to pay you $120, bare minimum. So you basically, if you guys are saying, well, I don't want to do it because I'm scared to be an entrepreneur, well, just treat it like a job. Just know that in this job, you get paid $120 an hour, right? And of course, our promotions can raises go all the way up to $280. Recruit someone, and of course, you got some great override systems. Anywhere from $20 to $50, $180 if you're the executive director who recruits the brand new associate with no one in between you. There's some great overrides there. That's what we call leveraged income, right? The power of being able to be out of work or not doing work, but still receiving money from work that was done. I lost a dear and close friend this past weekend, and what I knew is while she was dealing with her illness, there was still money coming in to cover her bills regarding her household bills because of what the team was doing, right? So there were overrides coming in that allowed her to go through that situation without having to worry about the finances of the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a place where you need to position yourself. There are 4 ways we get paid: full advance commission, you can get partial advance, you can get as earned commission, and if you're in the group arena, there are certain groups that you open up that are automatically going to be put on what we call payment earnings, and I'll explain each and every one of them. So let's just give you an example. Let's say you're a senior associate. You make $120 every time you sell a membership, right? Advance is saying as soon as you collect that $49.90 from the customer, Legal Shield says we're going to direct deposit $120, direct deposited you. Even though the customer only paid for the first month, they're still paying you $120. You collected 49, basically 50, they paid you 120. Well, why did they do that? They're hoping that you did a good enough job of explaining to your customer the value of our services to where the customer has agreed to keep it at least for a year. It's almost like me going to Uncle Frank and saying, hey, Frank, I need you to be a co-signer on a loan for me, right? Your customer is your co-signer. Now, the only way we're not going to default on that loan or your co-signer is not going to back out on co-signing on that loan is if they see value in what you've given them for that, for them being willing to give you that $120 loan. And the value is our services. The value is our identity theft protection. The value is our members' perks. And so because that customer has agreed to be your co-signer technically, you now get paid to advance the $120. As earned is saying, when a customer makes the first payment, you get paid $10. If the customer pays again next month, you get paid again $10. If they pay the third month, they pay you $10, meaning as the company earns their monthly payment, you earn your commission. So some people choose that because they may be, especially if you're in the B2B arena, you may be in a group or industry where there's high turnover, meaning those employees may not keep their job for a whole year. It may be a transient situation. So you don't want to take the risk of getting what we call a recovery. So just know if Frank defaults on my loan, if 6 months into it, Frank decides, hey, I don't like this Legal Shield membership, or I haven't used this Legal Shield membership, the company technically only earns 60 of the $120 that they loaned me. So now I owe them $60 in what we call a recovery or a chargeback fee, right? So if I want to eliminate that, I just go ahead and do is what we call as earned. So when the customer pays, I get paid. But that means if in 6 months from now the customer doesn't pay, I don't get a recovery or a chargeback because they were only paying me when the customer paid. So that's what we call as earned. Now, the good news is whether you get paid advanced or whether you get paid as earned, as long as those memberships stay on the books longer than 13 months, you're going to start to be what you call graded. Your book of business is going to be graded. There are 5 levels that you can be graded at. The first level is up to 55%. The second level is 56 to 65%. The third level is 66 to 75%. The fourth level is 76 to 85%. And then the fifth level is 86 and above. So what that simply is saying is based on your persistency is what will determine what we're going to pay you. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you are a brand new associate. You came into the business today. You're following the instructions of your upline, and they say, hey, we need you to have what we call a private business reception. You invite 20 people over, 10 people show up. The 10 people hear the presentation, all 10 of them decide to get the membership from you. You now just earn $60 times 10. You were a brand new associate, 10 people signed up, times 60, you just earned a quick $600. You're happy, you're excited. 14 months from now, Legal Shield is going to look at your February 2020 book of business. And they're going to say, okay, in February, he or she wrote 10 memberships. They're going to see how many of those memberships are still on the books. So if 5 of your members have canceled between now and 14 months, your grade is going to be 55%. If all 10 of your memberships are still on the books, your book of business is going to be graded at what we call 85%. You were the associate when you wrote the business. So they're going to look at those 5 memberships if you're at 50%, and they're going to say, okay, from this day forward, on the 5 memberships that are left on the books, we're going to pay that associate $5.77 a year on each one of those 5 memberships. So you just earned an extra, so that's an extra $60 basically you've just added to your residual income, right, for the rest of your life. But suppose you did it correctly, like suppose you really stress the importance of keeping the membership to your customer, and all 10 of them have the membership, your 10 memberships are going to be graded at an 85% persistency because you have a higher amount that stayed on the books. All 10 of yours are on the book. So instead of paying you $5.77, they're going to pay you $28.85 per membership for the life of those memberships every single year. So I'll just keep it to the executive director position. So now that you've sold that, month 2 comes around. Now you're in, let's say, March. You have another private business reception. 10 new customers come in, right? 14 months from now, they're going to grade those 10 customers that signed up. You're getting paid $120 on each one of those 10 customers. So you just made $1,200. And 14 months from that point, they're going to grade those 10 memberships again, those new 10 memberships in your second month. Again, if 5 of them fall off, it'll get a 55% persistency grading for the month. Or if all of them are on the books, it'll get an 85% persistency. But now the residual income at those 5 is going to be the $577 plus the $115. It's cumulative because you were the associate and the senior associate when you sold the membership. So basically $7 or $8, depending on when you came into the business, right, is what you're getting paid at the 50% level. If you are at the 85% grade, those 10 memberships you have left at on the books are going to pay you about $34 a membership because you've been graded at the 85% level. So let me just kind of make it a little easier for you. So let's say you write 100 memberships in 1 month. Someone writes 100 memberships in a month, but a year from now, 14 months from now, the company looks back at the month's business and realizes that 50 of those memberships canceled. Those 50 memberships that are left are going to be graded at what we call a 55% persistency grade level, right? So I want to go back. At a 55% level grade level, from here, from executive director, from new associate to executive director, that total dollar amount when added up is $16.14. So from this point forward, the person sold 100 memberships in 1 month. They graded that book of business 14 months from now. It graded at a 55% persistency. So there are 50 memberships left on the books times $16. That person just created for themselves $807 in residual income every year moving forward for the rest of their life, right? So the good news is, if one of those memberships cancel in year 2, grade 3, whatever memberships are left are still going to be paid at the 55, whatever it was graded at when it was graded in month 14. But here's what I want you to understand though. I don't get excited when people join the team and start writing a whole bunch of memberships. So I'm gonna give you a second example. Let's say you're not the producer. You just decided, hey, I'm here doing this part-time. I just want to do 10 memberships a month. I'm gonna do it the right way. So someone writes 10 memberships in a month and all 10 of those are on the books a year from now. So those 10 memberships are going to be graded at an 85% persistency. So I want to go back from brand new associate to executive director at an 85% persistency. When you total up the cumulative number, That number is $80.70 per membership. So your 10 memberships at 85% persistency times $80.70 is going to pay you $807 in residual income from that point forward. Now, the person that went out and wrote 100 memberships but had 50 of them fall off, what did we pay them? The exact same amount, because they got paid less, even though they had more memberships, because their persistency was bad. The company decided we're going to pay them a less dollar amount. The person that only wrote 10 memberships, because their persistency was good and the business was written the right way, there's a less chance of the company taking a loss. The company says we're going to pay that person way more money. So think about it. If the person that wrote 100 memberships decided, hey, instead of writing 100 memberships, I'm just going to focus on writing good memberships, and only wrote 50, they would have added 50 times $80.70 per membership. They would have added $4,000 a year in residual income to their bottom line. So why is that important? Market the membership the right way, right quality business. How do you do that? First of all, make sure that every member that you sell a membership to, I don't care if you're in B2B, I don't care if you're in group, I don't care if you're in network marketing, you make sure every member gets a copy of Your Quick Start Guide. That is available to you in your LS Engage. You can simply just copy and paste it. So I just download it to my computer and I email it out to people, or I send it to people through my Prospect app. Whatever it is, you make sure people understand that they have the Quick Start Guide, because you want to make sure that they're using their information, getting their will questionnaire filled out. If they have the ID Shield benefit, the biggest mistake we make is selling someone an ID plan and forgetting that they're still not covered. Just because they purchased the plan doesn't mean that they're being covered by our plan, because they still have to go in and set up their ID Shield account, set in their login, and they have to go in and enter more personal information so that they can take full advantage of the services. Meaning Legal Shield, just because you sold them the membership, Legal Shield still doesn't know, ID Shield still doesn't know what their social media accounts are, still doesn't know what their banking information is, still doesn't know what their credit cards, their passport number is. All of that information has to be entered by the customer in order for ID Shield to properly monitor and give them the services that we promised. So I always get upset when I go to a group or I'm servicing a group and someone comes up and says, I've had the membership for years, but I'm not getting alerts. And the only reason they're not getting alerts is because no one told them to what? Activate their account. So they've been paying for years thinking that they have identity theft protection, right? But they don't. They have an identity theft protection service, but they're not being protected because they haven't activated it. That's your role as an associate to make sure that that is done. So make sure you're following up with your customer to make sure that, hey, I hope you got your welcome email from ID Shield. I hope you downloaded the app. I'm going to forward over you a document that will show you exactly what it is you need to do to activate your membership. This document is also available to you on your LS Engage, right? So definitely make sure that you're sharing that with your customers. Another thing to help you keep your memberships on the books. I think this was a brilliant idea when they came up with this Members Perks program, because what it does, it allows our customers to have something that they can use on a daily basis. So I travel a lot, as you all know. So all of my hotel rooms are booked through my Members Perks program. When I get rent-a-cars, I book them through Members Perks, right? So why? Because with my Members Perks, I get an Emerald Club member with National Rent-a-Car through Legal Shield Members Perks. I get major hotel discounts through Members Perks. Cell phone, any type of homeowners insurance, any automotive insurance, anything that you need. You want to go take the family out to the movie, get your tickets through GMC Theaters through your or Regal Theaters with your Members Perks program. If you have a customer that's using their Members Perks on a regular basis, you're going to have a higher persistency, because they know that the only reason I'm getting these great discounts is because I'm a member of Legal Shield. They're going to make sure that they continue to be a member of Legal Shield. All of these things help with your persistency. It's customer usage that allows you to create a situation where your customer keeps the membership long term. So here's some tips I want you to work on. First of all, every Wednesday, if it applies to you, you'll get an email from Legal Shield stating that you have some members in pre-cancel. So say, here's your pre-cancel list. And what that simply means is someone that you sold a membership to, or someone in your organization sold a membership to, that customer is deciding to cancel the membership. You'll see a little notation on it that says customer request, or it will say no response from customer. Customer request simply means the customer wrote into corporate and said, please cancel my Legal Shield membership. No response from customer, 9 times out of 10, means the customer has no idea their membership is being canceled, meaning they could have changed credit cards. Credit card could have expired. They could have closed their bank account, right? Or there could have been insufficient funds. Whatever the situation is, the customer 9 times out of 10, when it says no response from customer, is totally unaware that their membership is in the pre-cancel status. It is your responsibility to call the customer and figure it out and help them get that membership reinstated. Make sure every customer downloads their Legal Shield app, right? So every time I sit down with a customer and they sign up, I say, hey, go ahead and do me a favor. Take your phone out for me and download the My Legal Shield app and the ID Shield app. You're going to get an email with your membership number. As soon as you get that number, I want you to go back to the app and just go in there and say, create account, right? Don't do it right now because you already got the membership from me, but I want you to at least have the app on your phone so when your membership number comes, you'll know exactly what app to go to. So I make sure while I'm there, I do it in groups and I do it when I'm sitting down with an individual. I don't care when it is. I make sure anyone that has purchased the Legal Shield membership, when I leave them, the app is already on their phone. Explain the credit monitoring authorization process. Make sure that you explain to them why it's important to have your information entered into your ID Shield. Now that you have the ID Shield membership, just know you're going to get a welcome email. You and your spouse are going to have to go in there and put in the personal information that you want monitored. Know that if your kids have a social media page, you can put that information in there also, so that can be monitored as well. Explain to them to provide a law firm system. And it's another thing we don't spend a lot of time with. So even though a customer spent $24.95 for a legal plan, they're still thinking it's probably one of those things where I can just ask questions, but if I have a major thing, I still got to go find a good lawyer, right? Or they may have just been signing up to help you out, right? But what you need to explain to them is, no, you have access to actually some of the top law firms in the country. So I can say, hey, Frank, I'm so glad that you decided to partner with us. I just want you to know, I know your membership is only $24.95 a month, but the law firm that you're attached to, Demon Parker Law Firm here in Georgia, is actually one of the highest ranked law firms in the state. Actually, Coca-Cola hires them and pays one of our top attorneys there about $800 an hour just to consult with them. The reason we're able to get you in at $24.95 a month is because through our Legal Shield network, we have over 50,000 customers here in Georgia that have that membership that pay anywhere between $15 and $149 a month. And that law firm gets a third of every payment on the 15th of every month. So when you call in, all that law firm knows is that you're their $1 million customer. That's why through our collective buying power, you get to have the best of the best. So don't ever cancel your membership because I want you to know you're attached to a top-ranked law firm, which the average person could not afford if they weren't a part of this network, right? So you got to put it in their mind up front. Hey, this is what we do. This is why you wanted to be a part of it, and this is why you want to keep your membership. I always ask the question, hey, Frank, let me ask you something. If it's too private, you don't have to tell me, but what's the first thing you plan to ask the attorneys tomorrow when you try out your service, right? Is it you want to get your will done? Do you have a question about some of your rental properties? Do me a favor, go ahead and write that question down now. And as soon as your membership processes, I want that to be the first question that you ask. Why am I doing that? Because I want Frank, my customer, to have immediate access and understanding. I talked to you all about the pre-cancel list. In your back office, on the membership, on the LS Engage on the membership, you'll see this form right here. It's best practices to save a Legal Shield membership. So you look at I've studied this form to know there are things that customers will come up with as to why they're canceling, right? I lost my job, right? Or short-term cash flow, traffic incident. You need to know what the response needs to be to make sure that they save their membership. I always like to say to a customer, look, I'm not going to try and convince you to keep your membership, but I do know you've been a customer of mine for at least, and I'll know what time it is based on what I see in my back office. So if it's a year, I'll say, hey, you've been a customer of mine for at least a year. I just want you to know you're going into your second year and the membership has actually added an extra 60 hours of an attorney's time. You actually have 120 hours of an attorney's time readily available for you right now. in any civil lawsuit. At $300 or $400 an hour, that's about $30,000 in an attorney's time already paid for. I'm sure you don't want to give that up. Or I may say something like this: Frank, look, I am so sorry that you didn't get to use your membership. But since you've already invested time in having this membership, would you at least do me a favor? Is it okay for me to go ahead and have them send you over a new will questionnaire, or I'll actually send you one, which I can get out of my Ellis Engage back office. I'm going to send you over a will questionnaire. Would you at least go ahead and fill that out this weekend for me? Let's send it into the law firm and at least get your will prepared. I want you to get some kind of value before you cancel. Because here's what always happens. The customer goes ahead and gets that will questionnaire filled out. They now have an experience with the law firm. Guess what they do? They keep the membership, all right? So make sure you guys get familiar with this form. Again, this is in your Ellis Engage back office under resources, under membership. You'll see where this form is on how to save your memberships and some of the responses you need to have. So don't be afraid to make the call, because if you don't make the call, one membership can take you from an 86% persistency to an 85% persistency. And that's a difference of about, depending on what level you are, that could be a difference from anywhere from $2 to $20 per membership that month. So think about it. If you wrote 10 memberships that are now being paid to you at $80 per membership, and you fall from 86 to 85, and now you're getting paid $60 per membership, right? So 10 times 20, that's an extra $200 you just lost because of one membership you refuse to call and try and save. So make sure you're trying to save every membership that you can. Activate their app, send them this form. This form, again, is also available in your back office. Go to LS Engage, it's in your back office, send it over to them just so they understand the process of how to activate their app, right? Because you want everybody to understand what to do. So I've already told them, I said, hey, Frank, you remember I told you to download that app? I want you to look at this form. Here's your membership number. Just follow these steps to make sure that you activate your membership account. Promote bank draft. And here's why I do bank draft. I've been a member of Publix Credit Union since I was 15 years old. It's the same account I still have today. Very rarely do people change their bank account information. Credit cards expire, credit cards get stolen, credit cards get compromised. So sometimes you may come across a customer that's in pre-cancel, and the only reason they're in pre-cancel is because their credit card that they have listed for their payment to come out of is expired. So if you can at any time, or if at all possible, make them do a bank draft. That's usually a safer and longer way to keep persistency. Encourage them to use their membership, right? Prepare their will immediately. Like I told you, tell your customer, hey, what question are you going to ask tomorrow? What's the first question you're going to go talk to your attorneys about with this membership? Use everyday stories of membership use. So here's another thing I want each one of you to do. If you're on this line right now and you don't have your will done, or you haven't had your will produced through your Legal Shield attorney, I respectfully say to you, shame on you. And that's your homework assignment. So I'm giving you a homework assignment. Between now and this weekend, you and your spouse, if it applies, need to go ahead and fill out your will questionnaire and have that sent over to your provider of law firm, so you know what the experience is like, right? The easiest way to sell a membership is to show someone your prepared will from the law firm and let them know how simple the process was, right? Because the only other option they have if they don't use our option is to go hire an attorney paying $1,200 to get that form. So you need to use the membership. I use stories to sell memberships all the time. I just got a brand new engine in my Hyundai Sonata. Why? Because the threat of a letter from a law firm made Hyundai send a brand new engine down to a car that already had 190,000 miles in it that died on me. But now they put a brand new engine there and it didn't cost me anything out of pocket. Why? Because my law firm got involved, right? Those are stories that will let someone say, hey, man, had I been in that situation, I would have just had to leave the car at the dealership, right? They could have kept the car because there's no way I was going to pay $9,000 for a new engine, right? But because I have a $24.95 legal plan, they took care of that situation for me, right? You got to get your people to understand, just because you have a legal plan doesn't mean you're going to break the law. I call it a life events plan. We should call it a life events plan. It's not a legal plan. It's a life events plan. We just don't realize that everything in life is a legal situation, right? So it's the life events plan. So let your customer understand the value of having a life events plan. When at all possible, sell it in person. I know you guys love to use your Prospect app and send videos and send links and all of that good stuff. But the way to solidify a long-term customer is face-to-face. Look them in the eye and say, hey, Teresa, look, I just want to thank you so much. One, for supporting me and my business. Two, for protecting you and your family. I'm just so impressed that you saw the value and understand the importance of covering your family with our services. And I want you to know that if there's any questions that you have or any issues that you have, that I am your Legal Shield representative. And I want you to call me. Feel free to call me at any time. So if there's any need or any questions you have about your membership, if you think that you weren't treated or handled in the right way, you make sure that I'm the person you call first before you make any crazy decision. Because the last thing I want you to do is to have you and your family not protected by our services, right? That interaction alone, that simple conversation right there, guarantees you a long-term customer. Because now you've built what? A relationship. And they know that you care about them and it wasn't just about the commission. So definitely, if you can, sell it in person. And last but not least, sell it right, right? There's no need for you to oversell our membership or lie about our membership or say it does something it doesn't, right? Oh, yeah, you can go rob a bank. We got you covered. No, we don't. We can get you an attorney. It's going to be a 25% membership discount. But if you're guilty, you probably still are going to go to jail. The good news is you just didn't pay full price for your attorney, right? But you definitely want to make sure you sell the membership correctly. I don't care what anyone says. What we do is good enough. What our membership does is good enough compared to what the alternative option is. So there's no need for you to oversell it or over promote it or anything like that. Just sell the membership the way it is and tell your membership stories, and your persistency will be good. My personal persistency right now is right at around 90%. My organization persistency is right around 89%. So we stay in that 86% or higher grade level in residual income, right? So people say, how'd you do 300,000 in a year? I didn't. I had 7 years of residual income added to what I did the year I received the $300,000 ring. To add up to 300,000. But because I have a good persistency and my book of business is good and my team's book of business is good, I'm getting a higher dollar amount in residual income than the average person. So the person that I spoke to you about that left the company, the reason he left is because his persistency was graded at a 55%. So he probably felt like a hamster on a wheel. I keep adding new people and they keep falling off. Well, yeah, if all you talk about is recruit, or business, you have someone that doesn't see the value in the membership. If the business doesn't work for them, they quit the business and they quit the membership. I'm saying recruit, and let people know, the people that you recruit know the value of the membership. So even if they're not a recruiter, they keep the membership because your persistency is what's going to pay you long term. I just had a young lady come back to my team. When I say come back, she never quit and she never canceled her membership. She got as high as director, and then life took over. She's been out of the business now, or not actively doing her business now, for 3 or 4 years. She calls me out of the blue the other day and says, well, Alistair, you didn't have to put anything in my name. I'm really thankful. How did you know I needed some money? I said, excuse me? She says, well, I just received a check from Legal Shield for about $600. She says, I just want to thank you for putting some memberships in my name. I said, I like you, but I'm not allowed to do that. So I didn't do that. I says, what you're experiencing is residual income. Your memberships that you did when you first started the business have now what we call earned out. And now you are going to receive around $600 a month in what we call residual income. And she said to me, so you're telling me had I kept working my business, that dollar amount would have been bigger? I said, it would have been way bigger. The good news is now she's active and back in the business and running again, because now she understands the value, meaning she left and tried everything else, got other jobs, did other opportunities, tried real estate, but nothing that she has done in the past has paid her the residual income that she's getting paid with our Legal Shield membership. So I don't think you have to be, I don't want you to think you have to be a top producer either. You just have to be a good producer. What I mean by that, Performance Club. Performance Club is the key in this business. Let's say you did Performance Club each month for a year. That's 5 memberships a month. That's an average of about 5 memberships, right? They're 12 months in a year. So 60 memberships are what you're going to have at the end of the year. At an 85% persistency, so you have 60 memberships paying you times $80.70, that's $4,082 that you're adding in residual income every year. So if you do that every year, you just focus on writing 5 good memberships a month. that stay on the books long term so that you're graded at an 86 per higher grade level persistency. You do that for 10 years. 10 years from now, you got a guaranteed $48,000 in residual income moving forward. And that's just on your personal production of $5 a month. That's why those Performance Club checks were, that Performance Club program they came up with is a genius to incentivize you to write the right amount of memberships, right? Now, if you write it the right way and your persistency is good, you just broke your generational curse. There's generational wealth that you have now put in place just by writing 5 good memberships a month and getting your team to do the same. So here's what I want to close on. I want every one of you here to focus on getting a ring, right? The $50,000 ring is basically $4,000 a month. And I know some of you are thinking, Alistair, I've never done $4,000 a month. That's like an elephant to me. Well, the best way to eat an elephant is simply one bite at a time. Just take one bite at a time. What I mean by that, $4,000 a month is really only $1,000 a week, right? You say, Alistair, I have yet to do $1,000 a week in this Legal Shield business. I understand. I know you haven't, but I am sure there has been a day in this business where you have sold a membership, right? $1,000 per week divided by 7 days is basically $148 a day. Senior associate level, right? Basically 1 membership a day. Manager level, 1 membership a day, right? 140 times 365 days. You're going to be a $50,000 ring earner if you were just to do it on personal production, writing 1 membership a day. The good news is the more you write is the higher we pay you. So it's actually going to take you less than a year if you were doing 1 membership a day and you got someone on your team to back you up with that goal. Hey, I'm just going to sit down with at least 1 person a day and tell them the good news about our Legal Shield benefit and our identity theft protection. So I appreciate you all so much. Frank, thank you so much. Teresa, thank you so much for having me on the call. I will definitely open up if you have any questions. And I am going to turn this back over to you.
Are we on the air here?
Yeah, I think you can hear us.
I can hear you.
Listen, Teresa's already getting this up on the internet so that we can have this in our archive so everybody that's watched it can also tell their other associates to go watch it, because when somebody sees this, it's going to be stunning to some people.
Yeah, I have to say that's the best explanation training I have experienced in my 21 years here.
Well, I took a picture of somebody.
Explaining to everyone. I mean, I knew how it worked, but I'd never seen it explained this well. So hopefully tonight this really impacted everybody. You certainly have been getting a ton of comments in the chat feature over here.
Yeah, you just see the chat features. And I'll just tell everybody else, Teresa and I have made well over $1 million just in residual income since we've been here. And
wow.
We didn't write those memberships. We've got people on
a few. We did a few.
We do have a few. But 99.9% of the money that we earn today, is overrides and residual income. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. So, and we did, a few memberships every month, and we just kept going. We just stayed steady. We've never been hot shots. We've just been consistent shots. Alistair, you outdid yourself again, buddy.
You did. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to coming back up, buddy.
Most definitely.